Here is the outside of my apartment. You can see here I have a place where mail can be put in, although I do have an official mailbox downstairs, as well as my doorbell right here and a camera. In Japanese households, there's always a place where you can take off your shoes, and that's called the genkan. So I'm going to take off my shoes here, and this is the door where we were just looking at. You can see that I have some recycling bags over here. Tomorrow is recycling day, so I have my plastics, cans, and a little bit of cardboard back here. To my left, I do have a shoe cupboard where I do store my shoes. And then it goes right into the kitchen. Welcome to the kitchen. So here's the kitchen right over here. You can see that I have one gas stove next to my sink. Up here we have a little bit of pantry items and where I like to dry my dishes. Down here, some storage space, some cleaning supplies, some ingredients, utensils, plates. Over here we have the fridge and freezer, just like this. Up here I have my microwave, and I also bought this storage container where I do have a lot of kitchen items over here. So now we can go ahead and move to the bathroom. I would like to show that this is a hot water setting machine. In Japan, you can change the temperature of how hot your water gets. Thank you. It told me that I set my water temperature to 41 degrees Celsius. There's also a button right here that I can press that will fill my bathtub with hot water, as Japanese people do love baths. Alright, walking into the bathroom here, I do have an older bathroom, so I do have the toilet in the same room as my shower. Nowadays, a lot of places have the toilet separate, but that's one of the reasons why I picked this place. The rent was a little cheaper because of that. So you can also see here the nozzle is shared with the sink, so it is a little bit older. Alright, welcome to the main room. Here, I'll just do a quick 360 so you can see here what it looks like. Here's the bedroom next to my office. Then I have my home gym, and then the living room. So when I rang my doorbell, it didn't make a noise and there was a camera. So this is where you can see who is at the door and you can actually talk to them. If I did have an automatic door downstairs, there is often a button where you can let people into the apartment, but mine is accessible from the public, so I don't have that option. One thing I should mention about my apartment is that it came furnished. So not only did it come with this bed, but it came with 2 tables right down here. It also came with a TV and a stand, and that vacuum. Also an air conditioning. Alright, let's go to the office. So this is the office right here. I did have to buy my chair and my desk for this. I do have my homework set up over here. And it is a funky looking desk, and I'll show you why that is. So you're sitting all day, you're kind of tired, but you still have a couple more hours of work and you can't focus. So what do? You stand up. So I decided to get a standing desk. So I think you noticed that I'm sitting on the floor. I don't have any other chairs except for the one in my office. It's not uncommon for small apartments in Japan not to have any chairs. I chose not to buy any chairs just because it would take up too much space. So in replacement of that, Japan also has a lot of floor chairs, if you will. So you can get sofas, for example, or couches. You can even get things that look like a lazy boy that are made without chair legs, basically, for the floor. So I do sit on the floor. I eat on the floor, I watch TV. I do sit on my bed when I want something a little bit more comfortable, but that's what it looks like. Alright, let's check out the closet. So this is my very large closet, and it contains much more than clothes. You can see here, it's fairly big. and it actually is fairly deep. So if I stick my arm in here, it's pretty much my whole arm's length. So up here I have clothes, some towels, daily toiletries and supplies. I also keep my rice cooker in here. It's more often put on top of the microwave, but I decided to keep it in here. Some notebooks, other items, and whatnot. Down here, there's a cupboard. I do keep my 2 full-size suitcases down here. And on the other side, excuse the mess, I do have my smaller suitcase as well as a few pantry items, toilet paper for example. But that is what my storage looks like. Living in putting on my slippers. You can see the view here. You might be wondering what this big, large blue object is. Let me move my plants out of the way. I have them up here just so they can get a little bit of sunlight. So this is Japanese shiso, and this one right over here is basil. So, voila! We have a washing machine. So most people's washing machines are actually inside their apartment. It's not very common to have them outside, but it does give my apartment a lot more space, which I do appreciate. So I do have a pole that I keep inside just so it doesn't get too rusty right now, but I hang out my laundry over here. And you can see the view. I am on the 4th floor, so I am fairly high up, and I'm glad that I don't have an obstructed view. So that was a tour of my apartment. I hope you found it pretty interesting. So before we wrap up, I thought I'd give a little bit of context into the location of the place, the price, and why I chose it and whatnot. So first, let's start with the location. So right now you are looking at a map of Tokyo's 27 wards. To give you a little bit of context, I put in Tokyo JR Yamanote line. This is pretty much the most famous train line in Tokyo. It's a loop, and what I'm trying to show here is that basically the JR Yamanote line represents central Tokyo. So if you are on this line or inside, you are pretty much in central Tokyo. So where am I in the context of this? These 2 pink wards right here are Meguro Ward and Shinagawa Ward. I pretty much live on the border of these 2 wards. So I live right outside of central Tokyo, which means, rent is expensive here. Alright, so going into the price. So right now, including all of the fees, I pay 72,000 yen per month. So that includes my rent, my management fee, which happened to come also with Wi-Fi, and TV service, which was super nice and not very common. But in addition to that, I do pay for my gas, my water, and my electricity. I have not gotten my electricity bill since I recently moved, so I can't tell you all the fees included, but it should be around 800,000 yen per month. So to give you context on, how much is that? So 72,000 yen per month is around $650. And that is significantly lower than the average rent for the area. So I did some light research, and around Meguro Ward and Shinagawa Ward, for my size in my unit, the average hovers around 90,000 to 100,000 yen per month, which is approximately $800 to almost $1,000 per month for the area. So I'm paying significantly less. How did I find such a place that's furnished and in such a good area? I have 3 main sacrifices that I came up with. So the first one is that this building itself was built in 1991, which is pretty old. A lot of people, when they're looking for places to rent in Tokyo, they'll look for places that are new or usually under 15 years old. The second one is that my bathroom is not separated from the toilet. They are in the same room, which is very common in Western households, but in Japan, they're usually separate, so a lot of people just don't like it. And lastly, my washing machine is on my balcony, which is really inconvenient if it's raining or if it's cold outside, but it's a sacrifice I'm willing to make. Yeah, that's just a little bit about the location and price. Hope it was a little bit insightful, but thank you very much for taking the time. Let me know what you guys thought of the place. If you want to know a little bit more about my neighborhood, I'm more happy to talk about that in a different video. But feel free to leave a comment, subscribe if you want to see more. But thank you guys so much for coming. See you.